Let's pause and fully appreciate what Kant has done with the formula of humanity, treating people as ends, never merely as means. This isn't just one ethical principle among others. It's the foundation of the entire modern concept of human rights and human dignity. Before Kant, political philosophy could justify rights and protections through various arguments: natural law from Locke, social contract from Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau, utility from emerging utilitarianism, divine command from religious traditions. But these justifications remained vulnerable to challenge or exception. Kant grounds dignity in something that cannot be challenged or accepted, the rational nature that makes us human. If you're a being capable of recognizing moral law and governing yourself according to it, you have dignity. This is categorical, absolute, unconditional. Let's explore the implications. First, dignity is unconditional. You don't earn dignity through achievement, virtue, or social status. You don't lose it through failure, vice, or crime. It's not a matter of degree. No one has more or less dignity than anyone else. Even a criminal who violates others' dignity retains their own dignity. Even the worst person imaginable is still a rational being whose humanity must be respected. This means you cannot justify treating someone as a mere means by pointing to their bad character, their social worthlessness, or any calculation of utility. Their dignity places absolute limits on what can be done to them. Second, dignity grounds inalienable rights. Because dignity is inherent in rational nature, the rights that protect it cannot be taken away, sold, or voluntarily surrendered. This is stronger than Locke's natural rights, which could sometimes be forfeited through wrongdoing or contracted away through consent. Kant's rights are truly inalienable. You cannot enslave yourself even voluntarily. That would be treating your own humanity merely as a means. You cannot consent to being murdered, tortured, or degraded. That would be allowing your dignity to be violated. Some things are simply off the table, regardless of consent or consequences. Third, dignity limits utilitarian calculations. This is perhaps Kant's most important contribution to political philosophy. You cannot sacrifice an individual's dignity for the greater good, the social benefit, the happiness of the majority. Imagine the classic trolley problem. A utilitarian might say, kill one to save five. More happiness, less suffering, greater good. Kant says you cannot treat that one person merely as a means to saving the five. If you actively kill them rather than merely allowing them to die through inaction, you're using them as a tool for your goal of maximizing lives saved. That violates their dignity. This doesn't mean consequences never matter, but it means certain actions are absolutely prohibited regardless of consequences. You cannot torture, even to save lives. You cannot execute the innocent, even to deter crime. You cannot use human subjects in medical experiments without genuine informed consent, even if the research would save millions. Fourth, dignity applies universally. Kant's foundation is reason, which is universal. Any rational being anywhere has dignity. This transcends culture, race, nationality, religion, gender, social status. It creates a cosmopolitan ethics where every human being has equal moral status. This was revolutionary in Kant's time and remains powerful today. It undermines every form of discrimination, hierarchy, or exclusion based on contingent characteristics. Rational autonomy is what matters, and all humans possess it equally. Fifth, dignity creates positive obligations.
Treating someone as an end doesn't just mean not using them. It means positively respecting their rational autonomy, supporting their capacity to set and pursue their own goals, facilitating their ability to make informed decisions, protecting the conditions necessary for autonomous choice. This has profound political implications. A government that merely refrains from actively violating rights isn't enough. Government must actively protect and promote the conditions for autonomous living. Education, so people can think for themselves. Freedom of expression, so they can share ideas. Economic security, so they're not desperate. And more.
Sixth, dignity constrains even democracy. Here Kant breaks decisively with Rousseau. Even if the majority agrees, you cannot violate individual dignity. The general will doesn't trump human rights. Democratic majorities cannot legitimately enslave minorities, suppress unpopular speech, or sacrifice individuals for collective benefit. This provides the moral foundation for constitutional limits on democracy, bills of rights, judicial review, protections that majorities cannot override. These aren't obstacles to democracy, they're necessary to ensure democracy respects the dignity of all citizens. Seventh, dignity applies to enemies, criminals, and the undeserving. Perhaps most challenging, even those who violate others' dignity retain their own. Even criminals, even enemies at war, even those we consider morally worthless, all retain inherent dignity that limits what can be done to them. This grounds Geneva Conventions, prohibition of torture, standards for criminal punishment, and humane treatment of prisoners. You can defend yourself, restrain aggressors, punish criminals, but always within limits set by their enduring dignity as rational beings. The political implication? All of this means that legitimate political authority must be grounded in respect for human dignity. Government cannot treat citizens as mere resources to be exploited, tools to be used, or means to achieve collective goals. Every policy, every law, every governmental action must be justifiable to the rational, autonomous beings it affects. This is why Kant says government requires consent, not necessarily explicit historical consent like Locke's problem, but possible rational consent. Could a law be accepted by rational beings who respect each other's dignity? If not, it's illegitimate. This is why Kant requires publicity. Government actions must be capable of being made public and defended publicly. Secret policies that couldn't withstand public scrutiny are presumptively illegitimate because they treat citizens with contempt rather than respect. This is why Kant requires republican government, not in the sense of any particular institutional form, but government under law where citizens participate in legislation and where power is limited by constitutional protections for dignity. The entire architecture of modern human rights law, from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights to the Geneva Conventions to national constitutions, rests on this Kantian foundation. Article 1 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights doesn't say all human beings are created by God or endowed by nature. It says all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. That's pure Kant. Dignity is the foundation, inherent in our nature as rational beings, the basis of all rights.